So, four novellas in one novel, The Painter of Skies by Jyoti Kumar Sarma. Hello, book nerds. Welcome to the Book Nerds Author Agency podcast, India's leading author agency known for its book marketing and author branding services. So, today we are in conversation with Mr. Jyoti Kumar Sharma, author of The Painter of Skies, a copywriter and advertising professional for over 40 years, creative head in several advertising agencies in Mumbai and Delhi, retired from his professional life and devoting himself to writing. A multi talented personality, Mr. Jyoti Kumar Sharma is the author of Kumo's Lament, Thrice Upon a Time, and The Painter of Skies. So, welcome, sir. It's an honor to have you here with us on this platform.
Thank you so much, Neeti. It's been wonderful that you are in touch and that we are being able to have this conversation with through book nerds. I appreciate the opportunity. Uh,
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. So today we will be discussing about a very unique book, The Painter of Skies, four stories in one book, or you can say four novellas in one book. So, sir, why all the four stories in one novel? Any specific reason for this?
Yes, there is, you know, each of these novellas, well, novellas first is longer than a short story, but shorter than a novel. So in between you have a novella. Each of these four novellas had started out as a novel, as a full length novel. When I was discussing this with my publisher, they felt that to be in the contemporary genre, why don't you try and attempt to do an instead of a full length novel, make turn this into shorter forms and have them in one book? Because each of these four novellas have a very distinct appeal. It has, in my mind, it also appeals to different categories of people, age groups. The settings are different, the issues are different. So how can, I mean, this should actually be, if you read through the pages of the book, uh, you don't like one, you can go to the other one and you will find a completely different scenario. For instance, in one of the stories, you are in the middle of a desert. In the other story, you are in the middle of a river in town, and
Mm.
it goes on. And the other, there is a complete urban center, and the fourth one, there is a up in the hills, a little hill town. So you have complete different sets, different characters, um, mm, and different issues from and here and one in the painter of the sky, the leading story actually talks about a young home delivery boy who starts dreaming big when he's 14 years old, when he's 10 years old. He keeps seeing that one day I will be able to graduate from this home delivery boy to owner of a shop in a mall. That's how big he dreams. And mind you, this boy is a boy from the village. He comes into a situation. He sees things. He learns to adapt himself to new technology. He tries to incorporate home delivery by through a mobile phone. And does he actually end up by owning a shop in the mall? This is what the story will take you through in the novella Painter of Skies. And when no one believes him, why is it called a Painter of the Skies? When no one believes him because he's a little uh, you know delivery boy, and how is he going to own a shop in a mall? He tells his friend, this little girl who is constantly with him, he says, don't, just watch. I am a painter of the skies. I can build castles out of glass. So here is a young boy who can dream big. In the fourth uh, novella here, The Son Who Comes Home, we are talking about a retired couple who have had that, that served their own careers, and the son has gone abroad like so many of people around us whose children go abroad, and they pine for that son to come home. And the son, like in most cases, well, keeps them guessing. He never really turns up, though they'd want to, they start subscribing to because they're in America. So they start subscribing to channels like CNN to see if they can get some information of what is the situation their son might be in. So that's from the youngster to the retired couple. And that is, let's say, the third, there is a story which is placed in the desert where it's called Baba Seeking a Fakir. Baba and Fakir are two characters in this story. Baba is a city-bred, slick guy who's used to hosting his own YouTube channel. So again, a story which is very contemporary, and he is well-to-do. He's a rich guy. He has parties. He likes to boast and to people about adventures that he has. One day he's thrown the ultimate challenge that okay, go out to this place because his friend, the lady in his life, tells him that, look, I have a strange calling. I know that someone is sending out a message to me. And this message is coming from a fort in the desert. So would you come and do this for me? Find that because you say you are such an adventurer. So you should be the ideal guy to do it. Does he go and find the fort? What is the mystery behind the fort? That is the third. You can see again, very, very different from the story, which is really When My River Weeps, is a story about an immigrant and how he and his family come at a very young age to this land and how they adapt to the ways and culture of this new land that they've come to, how they completely assimilate with the local people, how they become one of them. Okay. But then there comes a point of time when these people who adopted this new home, the new home, turns against them. Why does it do that? What happens to them? That's the interesting story there. So, like I said, each of these stories began as a full length novel. And but from whatever feedback I've got from my readers, they seem to have loved it. They seem to say, yeah, it makes for easy reading. And in a rush day life, we find it easy that sometime in a long commute, you can read one complete novella. So that was actually a bit of an experimental writing effort, but
Yeah.
uh, glad that it has paid off in the sense that the readers seem to have identified with this form of storytelling.
That's quite nice. I have also read it, and all the four stories are there, and all the four stories they are from entirely different genre, covering different concepts and different ideas. So it's like a platter of different kind of emotions in a single book. It's when you read, then you feel that way. So like most of the time it is found that authors are like very much inspired by real life characters, like they always many times they mention that they saw somebody like this character here and there, and then they moved to then they decided to portray that character in the book. So in this book, the characters like Prince, then Baba is there, Fakir is there, then that engineer Badal, who is the retired father, is there. So, any of these characters you have picked up from real life?
See, as a writer, we can never write in a total vacuum. Somewhere or the other, people come across, we come across people and somehow someone they stay back. So I wouldn't say that, yes, the characters have been there, but not in the role that they're in the book. They have been. We met a retired, very, diligently working retired engineer at some point of time or the other. But and some characteristics we pick up from people that we meet on a regular day. Because as a writer, the unique thing about writer or any artist actually, even as a painter, you're constantly not studying people, but you are looking at people and trying to see what is their background story. It completely is a natural process that happens all the time. Um, we come across someone and says that that's a very interesting person. I wonder what could be this thing. You could be. For me, very often is that as I sit in a car and go by and I see people at a bus stop. Very often I look at one or two of them and I want create a backstory about them. unknown to me. In fact, I did a short story where um, there's a person who's in a railway platform, and as people get off from the compartments and go their own ways, the writer picks up one of these characters and imagines where he could have come from, where he is going, what is like this. So this is the process writers do actually. They pick up people, and some of it is from known people. Most of it is from people that they don't know, but they imagine.
Hmm. Constantly there you are like interacting, you are watching the people, how they are moving, how they are behaving, how they are reacting, and then you are like putting all those things in a particular character, and then the character takes a proper shape, isn't it?
Yes. Very good
Naturally.
film. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, out of these characters in this book, all those character Baba, Fakir, Ali, and Malati. I think Malati is also there, and Malati is, I think, in My River Weeps. Malati is there. So yeah, yeah. So out of all these characters, any one character which is really very close to your heart, or I would say very, you when you wrote that character, you were like little bit, um, you loved writing that character and taking that character, taking the shape, and you wanted it to be like coming up nicely and in went very nicely with the flow while writing the character. Any one such character is very close to your heart.
Yeah, well, I obviously identify with the engineer in The Son Who Came Home, because he and I are of the same age. Motor. So, so I obviously identify, and I found it easier to portray him doing certain things. And I found that those things, like, I am, if I ever go into the kitchen, I'm very fastidious about where things are, you know, mostly so that the wife doesn't get upset. Look, this is supposed to be there, and why did you move it there? So this is one aspect which I put in my in the engineer. He goes to the kitchen, and he makes sure that he does not upset things that his wife has laid out in the kitchen. But so there are some things that we take from our lives and we put it there with this. Of course, I identified with uh, with it, but and but I had in the story about the Fakir and Baba. If you read the story, I tried to make them very contrasting people, starting
Yeah.
from the simple thing of what they wear. The Fakir is dressed in black, Baba is dressed in white. It's like, it's a very simplistic way of making contrast. But he does, right from that way, the Baba is a city man, Fakir is a desert.
Yes.
So each is contrasting. Apart from that, there was a question which I wish I could have handled, gone deeper into. It is basically the question of what does better. You see, Fakir is a man who's completely consumed by his passion for his art. He's
Yes.
a
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oba is a man who looks at everything from a commercial point of view. He a man making all, his sense of adventure is to, uh, make a YouTube video out of it and get audience. These were two contrasting characters, two contrasting issues. And so which is more valuable? Is it art for art's sake, or is it commerce? Commerce is knocking against commerce. They in the end, what really happens actually is that you will find that Fakir, coded on by his village and by his people, his close ones, want now to find out, should he not go the commercial way, because he's getting nothing out of of the sculpture, the work that he does. And Baba, who's a totally city-bred man, now wants to go into the spiritual way to find that what is this. So there's a constant interplay between art and commerce, between black and white, between two different people. And the other interesting thing um, was that neither of these two characters we ever tell them what is the real name. Fakir's name is not Fakir, is not real name. Neither is Baba's name real name. So I tried to put a little plant. So this was an completely experimental way of trying to find and solve issues of an in the mind of an artist. Really, you know, an artist is always looks at, you know, uh, he's sometimes goaded by he must also earn to live, but does he really accept it that easily? So there were many thoughts in that story. Uh, well, I'm not surprised that not many people really went into the story or appreciated the story because it was an a thinking from a artist's mind. It is more of a mind play than an actual thing that works out in life. I don't think you would have gone across and met those either of these two people in real life on a day to day basis. But this was actually, I gave myself um, that what should I say, that privilege of trying to work on something that was playing in my mind and not really thinking of the reader. The reader, by and large, didn't really uh, catch on to this particular story. The other three stories, I'm happy.
They are here. Oh, they can connect to the reader. I have read the book, and my favorite is also that the last one, that when the son comes home. And honestly speaking, the story Baba and Fakir, I read it. I read the Fakir portion twice. I read that Fakir portion twice because I was not able to connect with it, and I was like, "What? Why is it Baba seeks a Fakir? Why is it so? The title itself is so complicated. I was not able to understand why Baba will seek a Fakir." So when I read it twice that, oh, he is making that sculpture, and then he is like, he's a fakir, he's least bother about the surrounding. He doesn't want to like think about, he is into his art and he's doing that thing. And that fakir portion, that character, I was not able to understand. I read that little small portion, the ending that he is doing this work and all, and the people they are asking, oh, this happens and all those. Baba seeking a fakir. Why the title is like that? And I read that portion twice, and then I could connect. Oh, okay, this is the contrast in the story. Initially, when you will read, I think when a reader will read it first time, it's very difficult for the reader to understand unless he goes into the depth of the character. Depth of the character. That is the thing. So my favorite is also that son comes home. That story, I love that story. The way the engineer Badal is portrayed, how he is so close to nature, how he takes the things, and how both husband and wife, how they are so positive.
Yeah.
The son comes home, they keep so much of patience. The mother never asked him anything. He's there at home settled, but she is never asking until and unless she comes to know what exactly the issue is, what exactly the problem is. So that is very very close to, I also like that, and is very close to, that character is very close to my heart. I love that engineer Badal and his wife. So my next question is, I would like to say that everybody writes a story and they come up with so many things. Like, what kind of challenge, like, as you said, like, you while writing this Fakir and Baba story, so any other kind of challenge you faced while writing the book? You were writing and you left in between, and you thought, okay, I complete this later on because I'm not able to continue the story. Any such kind of challenge you face when
That it becomes this story was really this Baba and Fakir story is is a bit of myth. There is a mystery in it. There is it's also partly mythical. That's why in the end, if you read the very last para, that is where I introduce a character which says that Baba was very good at creating stories. In other words, he's saying that maybe this entire story is not true at all. He's telling his people this story was just a made up story. That the fort didn't exist. There was no black fort at all. These characters never existed. But Baba made up these stories because he wanted to bring tourists to these places, and he worked out of commercial instinct. And I think more very interesting thing that uh, in it comes from the world of alcohol. The Scotch whiskey produce this kind of stories around their brand, in a smoke filled valley in so many hundreds of years ago, in this kind of this thing. And we churn on that, and from that air and that water, you find this straight flavor, which ultimately goes into making a Scotch whiskey. So what they do, most products do, is that the more mysterious you can make your story sound, the more higher the value your readers or your consumers give it. So even like you take your simple restaurant menu, the way they describe the menu, they make it sound as if it is come out from some foreign mystical world that you are not about. And so you feel, oh my god, and let me have that. That maybe just be all maybe some methi sag or something. But the way you create it, you know. So that is the thing that they create stories around to boost up the brand value. So in this case, in the end, here is this little teacher, old teacher who says that look, I don't think any of this is true. This is just a made up story. So I was really, this is a writer's story. I was having fun doing this. I was experimenting with a thought process, and it just so happened it turned into a story.
Yeah, very true. So, like many writers, they look for some, always, like many times I have read, or we keep on reading that writers, they need some peaceful area, some writing retreat. And nowadays they go for some that writing retreat where there is peace or where they can write. So do you think, is it really necessary, or do you ever like followed this thing, like going to some other place, sitting there lonely and writing?
That way. See, one is that writing itself is a very lonely experience because very often what you do is uh, you sit in a room and you have to shut the door because and you have to you have to be by yourself. You don't like any interruptions during the very focused time that you write, that you're actually writing. Um, so it is, you lock yourself up in a room. That part is true. But do you need to go away to some place to write? No, not in my case. Or in fact, a lot of the stories that I have written while in my advertising days. While you go to a client meeting, and the meeting is forever delayed. We are waiting in the reception to go to the meeting. I just open my laptop and I carry on writing from where it was left off. I had left off. And then when finally the time goes to meet the client, I just shut the laptop and go and meet the client and talk completely commercial. But meanwhile, moment I get time, so it's not necessary that you need to people feel that you can work in the world. But the the actual thinking out process, the one when you see writing is very, it's not completely in a flow. Some days you're struggling just to get one sentence correct. Sometimes you're struggling a whole day to get one paragraph correct. And at the end of the day, you just delete it all. Like in each of these novellas, uh, it really broke my heart, but I actually dropped two-thirds of the stories. All the stories I dropped. Like for instance, you mentioned Maluti, the character in Bamna River.
Huh.
She was a completely well-developed character.
Huh.
And she had many dimensions to her, you know. Um, and there was a whole background story to the relationship between Ali and her.
Alien, yes. Honestly speaking, while reading, I felt this. I felt that why author has put this Malati character when, like, one scene is there, after that scene, she totally vanishes. So I was like, why? Why she was there when author has like come till this place that Ali is there, he constructs a door for the bathroom area. After that, where Malati goes, why this story is like, I felt that way. That character was not developed properly. I also felt that way.
Yeah, so I did it. If also I take a cue from most of my favorite writer has, and must be favorite writer of most people, most writers is Hemingway, and Hemingway has a simple uh, mo- guidance that if delete everything that you think uh, is not relevant to this way where the story is going. In When My River Weeps, after I wrote out the whole story, I realized that my story was really all about, at one point of time, an immigrant coming in, adapting himself, and then being thrown out by the very people whom he had served and where he had assimilated himself. That was the story. So the story of Maluti that came in between was actually, I felt, not relevant to the story. It was a distraction. So I said she had to go. And
Very
but
true.
again, had this been a full length, there would have been a full this thing.
Yeah, yeah. Because there were chances that you could have developed the character Malati and Ali also side by side. Both the characters would have gone parallel. Like mm, at some point of time, I felt that Malati will be like developed properly. She has a main this role in this, but later on she was like totally she vanished and she was not there only.
We've been very unfair about that.
No, that character was
Also, you realize that there is another female character who's called Agni. She also character also didn't develop. It had done. Her her she was a girl from a tea garden, and how she became a revolutionary and how she took on that fight was is story by itself. But again, because of the concept of the novella, I curb that part. So this way you can say that one is in this kind of storytelling, it you don't get the entire uh, spread and the breadth and the depth that you'd like to go to in a novel.
yes, very true. So, do you repent sometimes that oh, it would have been better. I would have gone for a full novel, especially in this River Weeps story. Like you could have developed the character.
Yes, I do. I do feel that very often. I do feel that very often, and some of my critics have told me that this story deserves to be made it, and maybe someday I will, with a change, make this into a novel.
Mm. No, it can go like you can make that character very nicely, develop that character very nicely. It has got that space. So I think
At the same time, I also wanted to give the to to my readers, who I think, to my mind, are much in a younger group, and I wanted to have a flavor of the different kind of stories that are possible at one level. That look, in one book, instead of having one character and one storyline develop, look, in one book you can have so many different kind of. It's like the Indian thali. You can have different flavors, different taste in one thali, in one meal. So in that way, I was trying to. This is more. What can I say? It is something that you can have a little flavor of each, and
mm,
to a reader, maybe a reader can then identify what is the kind of story that I really like.
so it's a platter. It's a platter. Totally. Yeah.
So this cannot is not put into one. This was something mostly I did for the sake of my readers. Say that, here, come, taste it and see which one you like, and tell me which one you like. I will do more of that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was a kind of that only. I also felt that way. Like, author has tried to offer all like different kind of you can say like platter. As I'm saying that emotions, different kind of emotions, different kind of characters are there, and somebody will like one story, somebody might like another one. So all the you are like having more reach. Also, the novel will have like more of audience. Also, that is the thing. Yeah. So like. What do you think like for you what comes first, plot, character, or setting?
No, in fact, there are the way that I like to write a book is like this. That if you're trying to cross a little stream and there are little pebbles, you know, forget a bridge. You're trying to cross a little river. In a stream, the pebbles are never in one straight line. We jump off together and then next to this, so you could be zigzagging, you could be going this way, and then my stories work like that. I go one way, and then I put my foot on one pebble, and I look around, and I say, okay, I'll go to that next one. So I have an idea of where the story is, what the story is, and where it will go ultimately. But I don't have make myself that how it will go. In the process, I don't work out completely. I said, let me um, work this out. Also, in doing so, I feel that what I am actually doing is asking the reader to come along. I said, come now, what should be the next steps be? What would be? So the reader should actually be working out in his or her mind, okay, it's this now, it should be happening. Does it happen? Doesn't it happen? I don't know. So my when the arc of the story is there, the going from A to Z is there, but whether it goes from A to B or A to C and then back to B and D, that works differently. I like that. It's a little challenge to the writer in me.
Yeah, that's true. So, are there any new projects coming up from your side?
Oh yeah, completely. There are many. In fact, the point is that at any point of you see how this thing comes. I have a very different way of writing. I normally start two projects at the same time, two novels at least at the same time. I will start both. Okay. And then I carry on and up, and I will write maybe one story for about 7 to 10 days continuously, or maybe a month continuously. Then I will stop and I will go back to where I left the other one, and I'll take that on. Then, i- as it takes shape, the stories take shape. Then I go from one to the other, and I one stays behind. I take the other one, but I write. I begin by writing at least two in it. This four novellas were written like that.
Okay,
These were
parallel. Parallel. Two stories going on parallel.
yeah. I have a open documents that are open and there are 4 or 5 different stories. Sometime while I'm writing one, I just put it to I said, look, this is not working out now. I'll put a hold on it. I'll go to the other one, and I do that. And that's how these four novellas came.
So it never happened by mistake. You have started typing in the another word document instead of that one.
So far, it has not happened, but but these things happen. That when I and a character is being developed, I say that here is a part of the character which could also be working well for the other character. Though when I'm writing this book, I start like that, but then I stop the others and I go and finish here. Once I've reached about say 30% of one book, then I stop that and I the other one, if it is working out well in my mind, I complete it. Then I come back to
So that means two books simultaneously are going to come up from your side. Two new books. We are going to expect.
right now. Right now, I have I have I'm working on three actually. I don't know which one this summer. I was hoping that my readers would tell me which one they like, um, so that I could, you know. In fact, these stories also. What I did was when I was working on this, I had a I formed a small panel of what about 6 or 8 what I call beta readers. I sent this to them to the 6 or 8 before it got published. And I asked them for what they thought about the stories, what character, and I got quite a good feedback on. And based on the feedback, some of the stories I did make some changes. Then it became the final story. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know, but what to me from my feedback is that most of the readers have ladies, and I was a little surprised. I thought maybe there were, I will have some men would be more and lady writer readers would be, men or men month of men, but it's completely other way around. So I think, mm,
So we were in conversation with Mr. Jyoti Kumar Sharma, author of Painter of Skies. So it was really like wonderful interaction, sir. And thank you so much for giving me the insight about the book and the stories. Now I can relate to that story, which I read, and I was not able to connect where the things are missing, why it is going this way. But now I could connect with the stories. And thank you so much for your valuable time. And it was really, really wonderful talking to you. And your inputs are really amazing. And I think I am once again going to flip the pages and I am going to find out where I was missing. It was like a puzzle kind of thing. Now I'm able to connect. Or like, as I told you about the Fakir story, I read those lines again to why this is like what the author wants to say. But and I had thought, okay, I'm going to ask you about this, what exactly you wanted to convey about Fakir, but you yourself you started telling me the story about that Baba seeks Fakir and River Weeps also. I told you about the Malati character. That was also something which I found missing. So it was nice talking to you, and we are looking forward to your upcoming novels, and we are expecting that they are also going to be mind blowing like this one, The Painter of the Skies, which I've read. And congratulations for your this book also. It is really nice one, and this concept is also very wonderful. In a single book, the reader is getting everything. All the different kind of genre are there. So wish you all good luck for your future endeavors, sir. Thank you so much for giving your time.
But it was wonderful speaking with you, and thank you for your insight. And I hope you take to writing your
Okay, sir.